Good afternoon and welcome to the midweek edition of Midday Live. My name is Wendy Lai. Our headlines for this afternoon. Now, this afternoon we will be looking at the fixing of microchips to monitor waste trucks and how this will improve sanitation. On the firing front, main opposition challenger in Sierra Leone wins first round of presidential election and faces runoff with ruling party. We have details of these stories and many more lined up. Please do stay. Let's start with our stories now. And a major technological twist to waste generation and collection will soon agitate the minds of Guineans as the sanitation minister is bent on micro-monitoring waste trucks. The next time you see the lorry bins in your neighborhood, be informed they have been affixed with microchips that monitor their movements in an effort to ease the filth that has engulfed the environment. Komla Kluche has the following report.
Accra alone generates waste in excess of 3,000 metric tons daily. Total waste generated per week across the various assemblies in the country remains at 105 tons. Only 25% of this is collected, representing 26 tons, 5% less than the national collection rate.
It is not in our nature as Ghanaians to be dirty.
President Akufo-Addo, in his bid to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa, has pumped some 200 million cedis into the sanitation sector, which is yet to see dividends.
The ICT development part of it would enable us to put a chip on every aboboya and every container, whether it's a waste container or it's a dustbin. We have all of those on chips that we can monitor from wherever we are. Even the landfill site itself would be captured on video. So every day, whether the minister or the mayor or even the president can see on the screen in his office what we are doing with the sanitation function of the country.
An overly ambitious sanitation minister is on the verge of changing the face of waste generation and collection in the country amidst daunting challenges. Over 800 million cedis owed service providers who have become oblivious of clearing the waste from the city as all landfill sites have been filled up. The target is mostly tricycles which ply the motorway. March 2007, West Company Zoomlion, with a gamut of resources, introduced chip-embedded waste collection bins to effectively monitor collection and maximize revenue. This technological twist has not come easy, as it has been fraught with its own challenges.
Initially, it was network connectivity, right? But after engaging the various entities, we realized that the best way to go about it is to identify the areas based on the best service provider operating in that area.
While the Minister of Sanitation is exhibiting an intent to deploy technological arsenals to deal with sanitation issues, IT experts have called for caution.
You can have a chipped bin on a truck and it's moving, and the bin can be empty, right? It's not carrying the refuse, and people can move around. You can see motion on your dashboard, but there's no clear proof.
Players in the industry are demanding focus should be on priority.
I think that the primary focus of the minister should be to collaborate with the MMDAs, collaborate with other ministries, particularly the local government ministry.
And that's the collaboration he wants to do to fix chips.
So that collaboration should go beyond the fixing of chips. That collaboration should go into mobilizing resources, building capacity, building infrastructure to ensure, first of all, that the field we are seeing around is cleared.
Until then, Baller has gone high-tech with supersonic microchip technology. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
We'll bring you sanitation stories shortly, but news in is that the state has filed a case of financial loss against a former chief executive officer, that's the CEO of the Ghana Cocoa, Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, with one Seidu Agono. Now we'll bring you details of that story shortly. So maybe more of that story in this midday bulletin. But away from that, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has postponed until further notice its decongestion exercise, which was scheduled for Abublushi Market on Monday. In anticipation of the exercise, we take a look at how the decongestion of the area will affect activities in that very market.
The Abublushi Market has served as a one-stop shop for almost anything one may find need to buy. For over 3 decades, the market has provided food and commodities for millions of people within and outside the region. Insanitary conditions have plagued the market for as long, with city authorities embarking on various sanitation exercises to keep the situation in check, the latest of which was postponed. Now, let's play an imaginary game. Let's assume the decongestion exercise has been carried out. The usually choked dual carriage roads with traffic and pedestrians would be gone. Vehicles would have free movement without any impediments. Traders would have been relocated to the main market, leaving the pavement and banks of drains free from any activity. With them gone, the likelihood of the drains being choked with waste from the vendors is reduced. The truck pushers are gone too. Gone with them would be the stench on this stretch, which is usually enough to make one feel faint. Now, customers would have no choice but to enter the main market to shop. This could mean less people on the streets and less traffic. Now, in this imaginary situation, how would customers find their way around the big market? Spokeswoman for Ninye, the market queen, Hannah Nabokai Ade, says customers need to only enter the market and they will be able to buy all they need as easily as they would by the roadside. Taking the news team on a tour of some key areas in the market, Nabokai lamented the traders who chose to sell by the roadside did not do so due to lack of shops. Many stalls sat empty. In fact, the central part of the market seemed dead compared to the bustling activity on the streets outside.
These shops belong to traders, but they prefer to use them as storage space. They come at dawn, pick their wares, and set up shop on the street.
Nabokai was also quick to make assurances that the market had more than enough room to accommodate the traders who would be relocated back into the market. Antiajwa, a fresh vegetables vendor, expressed optimism about the exercise.
This market is a sort of livelihood for us all. Selling on the street poses threat as well. What if you are knocked down by a vehicle? Then what?
Now, the question is, should the exercise yield the desired results? How long would this picture last? How long before the unending cat and mouse game between city authorities and traders starts all over again? Well, time will surely tell. Solace Rose Corte, TV3, Accra.
You're still watching Midday Live. 2 other stories now, and the state has filed a case of financial loss against a former chief executive officer, the CEO of the Ghana Cocoa, Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, with one Seidu Agono. Now, a total of 27 charges have been leveled against him. Let's go to the phone lines and speak to my colleague Selom Amenya, who has been following the story to indeed confirm if this is the situation. Hello, Selom.
Hello, Wendy.
Now, can you confirm if indeed what you sent us early on is the case?
Yes, this suit was actually filed at 8:35 a.m. today, the 14th of March 2018, in the Superior Court of Judicature, that is the High Court of Justice, and it is the Republic versus Stephen Kwabena Opuni, and the second person being Seidu Agongo, and also there's a third party, which is Agricult Ghana Limited, and a 10-page suit actually. And I can tell you that we have 27 counts of charges, and this range from abetment of crime, that is defrauding by false pretense, contrary to Section 21 of and 131 of the Criminal Offences Act. It also has to do with some other crimes such as defrauding by false pretense and all the other. It's a huge document that we are studying, but we can confirm as we are doing.
Now, where's the sitting, Salom?
Well, it is expected by the 23rd of this month. The High Court should actually call the case.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Solomon. He'll bring us more in our subsequent bulletin. So the news is that there's more on the cocoa board situation, and that Salom Amenya will bring us some more. And the news is that the former cocoa board chief executive officer, Dr. Stephen Opuni, has been sued for causing financial loss to the state. So do stay. We have more in a subsequent bulletin in relation to that very story. But to some other stories trending, and the first deputy speaker of parliament, that's Joe Osewusu, is still insisting the best way to tackle illegal mining, popularly called galamsey, is for the security agencies to be giving the power to shoot those involved. He was contributing to a statement on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday when the Kumbungu MP Ras Mubarak condemned the recent burning of trucks in his constituency by the military. Now let's take a listen to him.
I have made some very extreme suggestions. I know people are not happy with that, but regrettably, I don't have the authority. If I had, I would have made the law that if you find people on the water bodies, shoot them. We need to be strong on wrongdoers. We have pampering wrongdoers in this country too much, and there are not many anyway. I think that we should stand by the military.
So to talk a lot more about this very discussion, I do have in the studio Samuel Abucha. He is the campaign and fundraising coordinator of Amnesty International, and then Adam Bunai, security analyst. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
and thanks
Madam.
for your time. First, let me start with you, Adam. How would you describe the comments of Joseph?
I would say it's quite unfortunate. Let me use this opportunity to say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I would say it's quite unfortunate. I would say it's unfortunate, and did you say he still stands by what he said? I'm thinking probably he forgot he was in the House of Parliament, where laws are supposed to be made to protect us and punish law breakers. And I'll be wondering if I, for instance, break the law. I mean, who determines I've broken the law? It has to be a judge who is sitting in state to say I've broken the law and this is my punishment. And even that, when was the last time someone was hanged for probably, you know, someone who has been condemned to death? When was the last time someone was hanged? And so I find his statement quite unfortunate, to say the least. I want to believe that he might have goofed and he will come back to apologize to the sensitivity of all of us, not just Ghanaians, I mean, civilized people in the world. I hope he will come back and do that.
Now, Samuel, he's described it as unfortunate. He expects him to apologize. Now, this menace has been there. They've wreaked havoc, they've affected lives and destroyed people's livelihoods. Are you buying into what he's also saying?
Yes, we at Amnesty International found a statement unacceptable, regrettable, and should not have come from a member of parliament, not let alone a first deputy speaker of parliament who is a lawyer himself. We think that that statement should not have come in the first place. And we are of the view that if there's any way he can find a way of deleting that statement from the system. We don't want to see that statement in the system at all. Some people are likely to take the statement literally and start implementing it in their own way. And we think that if you find a way of deleting that statement from the system.
Okay. Madam, times without number, you've expressed concern about this Galamsey issue and matters that have arisen from it. Now, is that to say, and you've given it yourself, you've given options, other bodies have given their options, and even government individuals who work with government and officials have touched on and expressed their concerns. Is it that our legal systems or our systems in general are just not working?
It is not working because we, over the years, have paid largely lip service to how, I can't even say it's crime. It is only the law court that will determine what constitutes crime. And so I would say this would look like suspected crime. And so I would have wished that we rather would retool the police. Without that, if we continue to deploy the military, and now we are hearing
But that doesn't look like it would happen now.
No, the truth is that it has to be, we need to find a way incrementally to do this. If you bring in the military into civilian areas, and now we are hearing from, an honorable member of parliament telling us in the House of Parliament, not in his private residence, telling us that he wished the military, they will be empowered to shoot and kill. And I find that to be regrettable. I would have wished that rather that forum would have been used to say 800 million has been given to the police service to retool them. Let's rather retool the police because some of this machinery they usually would destroy during their, when they go on operations. The law specifies what this machinery should be used for. Banning them, crime pays. If you go to Britain, for instance, I said it, 2017, 1 billion British pounds was made out of lawbreakers. What are we doing? We can't use violence to fight violence. Resource the police, put in a lot of resources. At the moment, if you look at the census that was given out recently, we are about 30 million, and that is what they've counted. Probably we are about 40. And so the ratio has increased by the UN's expectations. And so what are we doing? We aren't doing much. So I would hope that the August House of Parliament and our parliamentarians, some of them should not say, what if I find myself, I have my farm around a Galamsey pit area, and I have chased a police or a military officer's girlfriend, he finds me there, and he empties his gun on me, and I'm dead, and I'm told I am a Galamsey operator. That is regrettable. It should not be acceptable.
Okay, now, Samuel, before I let you go, he's spoken from a security person's point of view.
Yes.
Now, from your bit, what is the way forward?
The fight against Galamsey is not supposed to be one-pronged approach. It's a multi-dimensional. It has to do with livelihood of the people. This Galamsey, it's unfortunate that, this Galamseying or Galamsey practice or the illegal mining was what some of the MPs in Parliament today used to pay their school fees and other things, and today they are big men. You understand? This is livelihood. The approach is not about force or military force. It's about alternative livelihood to the people. Much as we use the force to take the people out of the pit, we should also be thinking about providing alternative livelihood to the people. Naturally, when you are hungry, hunger can kill you if you don't find solution to your hunger. Definitely, these people will do everything to get food for themselves. So what should we be doing as a nation is to find alternative job opportunities for these people, and gradually, we'll take these people out of the pit. But the shoot and kill is completely against our laws of Ghana. Our law says that innocent until proven guilty, and it is only the court of law that can prove somebody guilty. And we are not in a jungle where the survivor of the fittest. No, we will not accept this, and this should not have come in the first place.
Thank you so much, Samuel Adboche, campaign and fundraising coordinator for Amnesty International, and Adam Buna, security analyst. We're grateful for your time. You're still watching Midday Live. Do stay with us. Wednesday, you're still watching Midday Live with me, Wendy Lai. To other stories, and the minority leader in Parliament, Haruna Idrisu, has backed calls for an audit to be conducted into the mining sector with particular attention on its impact on residents of mining communities. Haruna Idrisu was contributing to a statement by the MP for Ebirim on the implementation of the Minerals Development Act 912 of 2016.
The enactment of the Minerals Development Fund MDF Act 912 of 2016 brought great relief to the people in mining areas in anticipation of interventions to ameliorate their hardships. The Act provides a legislative backing for the allocation of 20% of mining royalties received by government to mining communities for development. A legal basis has been provided for the disbursement and management of ceded royalties received by government, redress harmful effect of mining on communities and persons, promote local economic development and alternative livelihood projects in communities affected by mining activities. However, the implementation of the Act is fraught with challenges. Key amongst them is getting the Mineral Development Fund Board constituted, without which people living in mining communities will remain shortchanged.
The delay in the implementation of the MDF Act is becoming a source of grave concern for the intended beneficiaries. This invariably is postponing the opportunities it would have afford these communities to lift themselves out of poverty and deprivation that seem to be their lot at the moment.
The MP for Ebirim called for an audit into the activities of mining communities.
The result of this assessment will therefore indicate the direction to go as a nation with mining. I wish to reiterate the call on government to duly constitute and inaugurate the governing body, that governing board of the MDF, to fully implement the Act.
The minority leader supported the call and urged government to expedite efforts at implementing the Act.
The statement in calling on the President that he should not just constitute the Mineral Development Fund, but all other councils, boards and commissions. The mining industry is in sharp decline. We need to do the audit that he has asked for.
Other members contributed to the statement.
While the Constitution states clearly how the revenues must be disbursed, the Mineral Development Fund also has another formula.
The Deputy Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Benito Usubio, assured fellow members of the House the issues would be addressed as a matter of urgency.
As we speak now, their names have been put together, and currently it is at the Council of State for assent, after which soon they will be inaugurated.
To other stories, a national project manager of the International Labour Organization, Kwamina Amoisiando, has justified moves to beef up security at the Nima residence of President Akufo-Addo. Traders and artisans around the private residence of the president have been served with notice to vacate the area before March 15.
Even though the traders say they are ready to comply with the ultimatum and vacate the area by the deadline date, many actors, including politicians, have waded into the debate, with some describing the moves as mean and exploitative. A security and governance expert, David Agbe, said President Akufo-Addo's refusal to move from his private residence to Flagstaff House is inappropriate. The director of the Center for European Studies, Professor Ransford Jampo, also told the president to relocate to Flagstaff House and stop inconveniencing traders around his private residence. Professor Jampo expressed disappointment, saying the presidential residence has become a waste. But the national project manager of the International Labour Organization, Kwamina Amoisiando, maintains that the private and official movement of the president is a matter for national security.
It's a state property. Even though, so you combine his private movement with the official movement and official residence and everywhere. So even though, as we speaking, the president may be at the Flagstaff House, Peduasu Lodge should be covered by security permanently. His private house where he goes quite often should be covered, and then if he has a house in his hometown and he goes there very often, it should be covered, or even if it is not very often, any time that he's going there, it should be covered.
Kwame Nkrumah also refuted claims that the president's use of his private residence is a waste of state funds.
The president is not staying in his private house permanently to serve Ghana. Serving Ghana, he does that at the State House, which is the Flagstaff House. But he keeps his private house for his private meetings and private things, because he also has family, has friends. Suppose president want to host a friend, a very good friend of his, in a small dinner. You want the state to bear it at the State House? No. While he is there, he is still the state asset. So the state should protect him.
The area is likely to face mass demolition after the Thursday, March 15 deadline elapsed.
To the Western region, and residents of Sekondi and adjoining communities have embarked on a demonstration demanding for a paramount chief. Now, the demonstrators, numbering over 100, say the absence of a spiritual head is affecting the development of Sekondi. Our Western regional reporter, Eric Yao Ej, was there and has come through with his report.
That is the demand of the over 100 residents who took to the principal streets of Sekondi on Tuesday morning. They complained several development initiatives have bypassed Sekondi. They also complained about high unemployment levels and dwindling economic ventures. And they blamed these on the absence of a paramount chief who will provide spiritual leadership and fight for them.
A lot of developmental projects have bypassed us. And we cannot continue to live in Sekondi without the spiritual head, the leader, and the traditional ruler of Sekondi. Sekondi is not a small paramountcy. It is a paramountcy with more than 22 the divisional chiefs. And we are the administrative head of this region. So if the head is rotten, it means that the whole region is in disarray.
Sekondi has been without a paramount chief for the past 15 years. After the demise of the paramount chief Nana Orura Duku on March 17, 2003, two families have been fighting over the right to ascend the throne. After a long legal battle, the two families agreed to settle the case out of court. Some chiefs at the Western Region House of Chiefs have for the past 5 years been meeting the disputing families over the matter. Unfortunately, anytime there is a ruling, one of the families will dispute it. The residents say they are fed up with the intransigence of the feuding families and are calling on the Western Region Minister, Dr. Kwekwe Friye, the President of the Regional House of Chiefs, Girondeogo GHS II, and the Sekondi Takoradi Mayor, Anthony KK Sam, to intervene.
We have made so many approaches, so many contacts. Even there was a time we had to call Methodist Bishop, Anglican Bishop, even a retired Bishop of Methodist Church, who is an hunter, came down from Accra. We nearly concluded everything, but a confusion came in, and then that was the end. So we had to start again.
But lawyer for the Western Region House of Chiefs, Kweku Sam Amwa, insists the House has done all it can to have the matter settled, all to no avail. According to him, the onus is with the families to come to a compromise since the House cannot install a chief.
The last time it was called, about 1.5 weeks ago, on the 7th, the lawyers of the two parties were not present. So the matter cannot be gone into. So all we have to do is to adjourn. So all what we will tell the parties is that, look, encourage everybody from now going, let's all be up and doing. Let them get their lawyers to come at all times. None of them are ready to sit on the matter.
Obviously, when you hear that tune and see those visuals, it's about TV3 celebrating the Ghana month. And remember, this month we're knowing and watching Ghana on this very platform. Now to One story which is about knowing your very country, Ghana, but with specific focus on the Greater Accra region. Ghana can boast of wildlife sanctuaries like the Boabemfiame Monkey Sanctuary and the Kakum National Park. Ghana is really blessed with ecotourism sites. However, there's always appears to be other interesting ecotourism sites you probably may not have visited or heard of. As part of TV3's Ghana Month celebration, Kwabna Edujemfi takes us to a tour on the only waterfall in the Greater Accra region, the Chenku Waterfalls at Dodowa.
Ghana has become a leader in ecotourism and is doing an amazing job at maintaining a great link between tourists, local communities and ecotourism activists. The Kakum National Wildlife Park, the Mole National Park and the Boabemfiame Monkey Sanctuary are typical examples of tourist resorts and wildlife sanctuaries within populated communities. But it appears there are others yet to receive the same popularity following their discovery and inherent potential to improve on the country's tourism industry. Deep inside Dodowa Forest is the Chenku Waterfalls. This one sacred surrounding is named after the Chenku god, whose shrine is believed to be at Obosomase.
Chenku Falls, assassinate my great grandfather dear, if I know Damite Kwaku, Otto F. Buswansi form, that was in 1905.
My great-grandfather bought the site from the people of Obosomase in 1905 for farming. In the 1990s, we realized the place has a good tourism potential, so we started organizing holiday programs there.
But later, I feel I didn't even say you clear ho, now you do holidays, now you pay machine be sound system be baha, and I spinning be baha. At least, bet my baby.
I was told in a week that the site receives about 100 visitors, while thousands of people and tourists visit on public holidays and during the annual Nganyem Festival celebrated by the people of Dodowa. Like all other revelers, I also did not get any tour guide to brief me. This man claims to be the caretaker of this place.
I have been staying here for the past 3 years farming.
Locals pay 2 cedis, while foreigners pay 5 cedis to gain access to the place. It was clear individuals had taken charge of the site and were cashing in on a disorganization in revenue mobilization, since the place is currently not under the management of the Shai Osudoku District Assembly or the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Say 500.
Roughly, about 500 Ghana cedis is made a week.
This is a typical example of what we call Sea Ghana, but little is known about the Chenku Fall due to the lack of proper maintenance and poor road network. But is there any plan at all for packaging and selling this place to the world? Every natural resource found in Ghana clearly belongs to the state. The Ghana Tourism Authority plans to develop sites with tourism potential to befitting attractions like the waterfall in the eastern region, since the Chenku Fall is the only waterfall in Accra and can save people from long-distance travel.
What we are concerned about is, are the people going there safe? If something happens, will they have insurance? If there's a fire outbreak, are there exit areas? When they go there, are they being told the right thing? So, for example, we are working with Tour Guides Association on re-registering all tour guides in the country.
This has the potential to put money into the local economy, since the allodial owners are already making millions of cedis from the site. TV3, Kwabna Edujemfi.
Always remember, in this month of March, wear, know and watch Ghana. You're still watching Midday Live. 2 other stories, and we give you the platform now to air your very own stories with the rest of the world. And this afternoon, Maxwell reports on the Girondeogo GHS, which has its roof ripped off by storm.
This is the Girondeogo GHS, which was ripped off by a storm. The students and the headmaster are helping put the structure in good shape, but with much difficulties.
So like Maxwell did, you can also send your video report via our WhatsApp platform. That's 05514333044. 05514333044. We're taking a breather. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying. Now to some business stories. And the executive director of the IFS, Professor Newman Kusi, says government's recent indication to issue bonds and other project financing mechanisms would increase the debt ratio to an uncontrolled state. In an interview with TV3 Business, Professor Newman Kusi argued that the rising interest payments on the debt continues to drain financial resources allocated for the construction of critical infrastructure such as roads, railways and housing.
Over the last decade, Ghana's interest payment on debts has increased from 300 million to about 15 billion cedis. This suggests that resources have been taken away from several critical sectors of the economy, with serious negative implications for growth and poverty reduction. Executive Director of IFS, Professor Newman Kusi, disclosed that presently government spends 42% of its revenue on interest payments. A development he bemoans is draining resources earmarked for other purposes.
As a result of the high debt that we have and the interest that we pay on the debt. For instance, the interest that we pay on debt increased from 2.4 billion in 2012 to 2.4 billion in 2012 to 13.28 billion in last year, and this year we're going to pay about 14.9 billion cedis as interest on debt, not to the debt itself, as interest on debt. And if you relate it to the revenue that we collect, you see that as of 2016, for every cedi that we collected, 41 pesos went to pay interest on our debt. And this year, 2018, for every cedi that we collect, about 39 pesos will go to pay interest. So, so if you collect 1 cedi and you pay 39 pesos, you used to pay interest, then how much is left to fund all the government activities and those type of things?
Although he applauded efforts by the current government in reducing the debt, he fears Ghana is not winning the war against debt stability. He thinks government can overturn the situation through the introduction of innovative ways in mobilizing revenue domestically.
Domestically, we should be able to strongly mobilize revenue, to do that. And a whole range of issues surrounding the domestic revenue mobilization in terms of the tax rate, the concessions, the revenue administration, the compliance, the abuses and all those type of things. We think that will help. But more importantly, there are various sectors and operators in the country that are given a whole lot of tax exemptions and stability agreements and those type of things that tend to reduce the taxes that they are supposed to pay. There are also very rich people, which are high net rich people in this country, who don't pay the tax according to that.
Figures released by the Bank of Ghana show that Ghana's total debt stock is estimated at 139 billion cedis, representing 68.7% of GDP.
To some news just in, the Supreme Court has dismissed an application for the judicial review filed by Standard Bank Offshore Company against the National Investment Bank. According to the Apex Court, the application failed to meet the requirement set for review. Now, a 7-member panel presided over by Chief Justice Sophia Kufu, with Justices William Atuguba, Julius Ansa, Sophia Dinera, Jonas Duce, K. Enim Yabua and A.A. Benny sat on the case. Justice Jonas Duche, who delivered the judgment, emphasized the option for review should not be an avenue for dissatisfied litigants to re-argue their case. The court was of the view the application failed to establish the case of miscarriage of justice, and the ordinary bench did not misapply the facts. The only condition met was filing the application within 1 month period stipulated by the law. The Supreme Court dismissed the application on the basis that it lacked merit. That's all for business this afternoon. We have sports next with Yao Ofosulabi. Let's start with our stories now. And Sierra Leone's election is to pick its successor to outgoing President Ernest Bai Koroma will head to a runoff later this month after neither the two frontrunners failed to secure an outright majority in the first round.
Chairman of Sierra Leone's National Electoral Commission, Mohamed Infa Ali Conte, said the runoff will take place on March 27 as no candidates for president won more than 55% of votes. Opposition leader Julius Maada Bio of the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP, briefly ruled Sierra Leone as head of a military junta in 1996. Julius Maada Bio of the SLPP is taking his second shot at the presidency as a civilian. He lost the last post to outgoing Ernest Bai Koroma in 2011. Samura Kamara, on the other hand, is the immediate past Foreign Affairs Minister of Sierra Leone. President Ernest Bai Koroma is stepping aside after his maximum 2 terms in office. The largely peaceful vote to replace him came as a relief for the country of 7 million people, which endured a brutal diamond-fueled civil war in the 1990s. But the winner will face pressure to revive the moribund economy that has been ravaged in recent years by low prices for its main exports, iron ore, and an Ebola outbreak.
Let's see some more international news now.
Home in Cambridge in the early hours of Wednesday, his family said. The Briton was known for his work with black holes and relativity and wrote several popular science books, including A Brief History of Time. At the age of 22, Professor Hawken was given only a few years to live after being diagnosed with a rare form of motor neuron disease. The illness left him in a wheelchair and largely unable to speak, except through a voice synthesizer. Professor Hawken was the first to set out a theory of cosmology as a union of relativity and quantum mechanics. He also discovered that black holes leak energy and fade to nothing, a phenomenon that would later become known as Hawking radiation. A court in Benin has jailed 7 senior staff of pharmaceutical companies on charges of selling illicit medicine. They were jailed for 4 years and fined a total of 100 million CFA francs. The case sets a precedent in the fight against fake medicines in West Africa. Medicine are considered fake when they lack a crucial ingredient or contain lower levels of it than claimed. They are sold in packaging which is often identical to the real thing.
Next, let's go for entertainment.
Entertainment news is brought to you by
And Ghanaian Afro-pop singer Riala will perform with the all-female international group GRRL on the main stage at the 2018 Commonwealth Games at the Gold Coast in Australia on the 15th of April 2018. Now, she again introduced the formal closing ceremony of the 21st edition of the Games. Elated, she said, working with the group the last 2 years has been a real journey for her, and then they will do a fusion of international cultures and have created a very unique and dynamic energy. The crowd is going to be international and massive. According to Riala, she quoted that I used to dream of such things in the village and now it's really happening. On that note, we do end Midday Live. My name is Wendy Lai. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have a good afternoon. Thanks for watching.